everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the St. Lawrence Coaches Corner. My name is Megan Nichols, and joining me today is head men's and women's swimming and diving coach, Bob Clemmer. Clem, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Glad to have you on. I'll jump right in with my first question for you. Can you tell me how your practices went this semester and how many student athletes you have left on campus right now?
Well, they were going really well once we were able to get into the water. I mean, of course, initially we had to run 3 different practices a day just as far as monitoring the number of swimmers that were in the water. Then as we moved into a different phase, we were actually able to manipulate the practice so that everybody was practicing at once. But they were very engaged. They were very high level of enthusiasm. At the time, we had cautious optimism that we were going to be at least having a couple of dual meets against Clarkson University. But then right around the time that the decision was made to shut it down for the term, they were shockingly, they were still coming. But you could see there was a little bit of a watering down of their enthusiasm. So understandably, of course. So, but right now, as far as swimmers that are left on campus, it's just a group of my seniors that are left. Everybody else pretty much went home when they shut the place down in November, right before Thanksgiving. But I was having, at the time, I'd say a little over half of the team was planning on staying through finals week so that they can continue practicing, which of course I was excited about, but then once they shut it down again, then most of them went home except for some of the seniors.
Gotcha. Obviously, you won't be able to take your January trip this year because of COVID and the early start to the next semester. And that's a huge loss for you guys. Do you have any plans to substitute that?
Well, it looks like, based on what the schedule is, that we're not going to be able to run practices until middle January, maybe even the 3rd week in January, which is a lot later than we used to. We used to always start at the beginning of January with, as you said, our training trip, which for the last several years has been down to Florida. And so what we're going to do is, once the team gets back into the swing of things on campus, then what we'll do is we'll start practicing. I know that Athletic Director DeRocher has cautious optimism that we're going to be able to have some inter-school competitions. So we're going to try to get ready for those as quick as we can. Traditionally, I've sent workouts, practices to the swimmers during the December break to try to get them a little bit more up to speed by the time they get back, so we can be productive and hit the ground running as soon as they get back. And I'll do that again this year. So hopefully we'll see a group that don't have too many cobwebs,
Gotcha. And we know that the Liberty League has canceled their winter championships. And if for some reason you can't do the dual meets, have you put any thought into doing the virtual meets to compare times with other schools for an actual competition?
Yeah, it was really heartbreaking. I feel, especially for my seniors who have done an excellent job for our team, both over the last during the years that they've been here. They've been so helpful, and I felt really heartbroken about that. So, but I have had some conversations with some of the teams that are in the Liberty League about doing a virtual meet about the same time that we would have our conference championship. So right now that's kind of in the beginning stages, but I do anticipate us doing that.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully that at least some part of that's able to happen. Um,
Right.
and can you tell me a little bit about how your recruiting's going?
No, going a lot better than I anticipated with the pandemic. It's definitely, as you know, it's definitely an advantage to have a recruit come on to our campus. Our university is just a showcase, and it does a wonderful job with helping convince the student athletes to come to St. Lawrence University. I'd say right now the pool of recruits that we have is pretty close to normal. We've normally had, over the last several years anyway, we've normally had a pretty large collection of swimmers that had gone early decision. But we really don't have only a handful, only a couple that have anticipated doing that this year. And of course, that makes sense. It's one of the things besides the university, our swimming and diving teams have done an excellent job presenting themselves and showing a positive image of our team. So that without having that, it's been different this year. But we're hopeful. We're hopeful that we'll have. The good news is that uh, we've had, the last couple of classes that we've had have been significant. So that's going to be helpful. We're graduating a fantastic group of seniors, and hopefully the others can pick up the slack once they're done. You
Gotcha.
know,
Well, that sounds great, and I'm glad that the recruiting is going well for you too, still with everything going on.
right.
Um, that was all I had for you today, Clem. So I just want to say thanks for joining me on this week's episode of the Coach's Corner, and I wish all your team members the best getting through the finals week and heading into Christmas break. And I want to thank everyone for tuning into this week's episode of the Coach's Corner.
All right, great. Well, I thank you too, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Clem.